Hey guys, it's Krista here with Blooms and Brushstrokes and my kitty Texas. He loves to join us while we're painting. So if you're new to the channel, this is Tex. He is an artist himself. He loves to think he can paint and he always hangs out during our videos. So bear with us. He is part of the channel as well. Anyways, today we are going to pardon me, you guys. We're going to paint something totally different. I have been feeling a bit uninspired and I know the way to be re-inspired is to just by keep painting. So I'm just working on that, but I thought it would be fun to do a little Halloween something, just something different than flowers and whatever. So I have this little paint or drawing done up here. I will obviously, oh my goodness, you can't sit on there because that's where I got to paint, buddy. I'm just using a little watercolor card. These are just these little watercolor, they're kind of like postcards, I think. Anyways, they are, I don't even know the size of them. I just ordered a whole big bunch of them just specifically for this reason, to do quick little tutorials on. And the quality isn't the greatest, but it will be perfect for whatever we're doing. I ordered them off Amazon. I will look and see if I can find the link that I used to get them. And then you guys can order them as well. So then I'm going to use the Yarka St. Petersburg paints. I have my swatch handy dandy here. I don't know if you guys like it or not when I tell you guys always the colors that I'm using, but I'm always constantly blending them. So I'll continue to do that because people have asked previously what colors that I'm using. And then of course I've got my trusty variety of paintbrushes. I usually only use a few of them, but in this picture, there's a spider and a spider web, a couple pumpkins, and a ghost with a witch's hat on. So I have my water. I also have my trusty little kit here that has a bunch of different watercolors in it that I don't use. Oops. It's got my Micron #1 ink pens, which we'll use at the end. It also has the gold metallic Winsor Newton ink, which we'll also use that as well. Those are the things that I use in pretty much every painting that I do. And I think that the gold will be really cool in this Halloween painting. So let's get cracking, you guys. Are you going to stay and hang out the whole time right there? Oh, thank you. What do you think? Do you want a treat? Oh, okay. Like, thank you for putting your, oh, big stretch. Okay, do you want a treat? So as you can see, I just taped down the corners. I did not pre-wet this at all, which I probably should have done a wash over it with just clear, but we're not going to do that because we're just going to do this a quick, fun little tutorial time. So I'm going to put down some water first. This may create this page, may make this page kind of bubble up a bit because I didn't do, I think you call it a stretching. Anyways, I didn't do that before we got started. So I'm just putting down water loosely and not like just kind of like loose. We're just going to have a little bit of pigment in the background. Nothing crazy. And I am going to go in with the neutral black, I think is what that one's called. It's a little far away from me. Yeah, we're going to go in with that and really dilute it. So I'm going to go in with like a black. You can go in with a gray. You can go in with whatever color you want your background to be totally honest. So we're just going to dilute it a lot and then just go in there and put that down. I don't want it to be dark, like super dark. I kind of almost want it to look a little bit smoky or something, which just let that totally dry up. Oh, Tex is back. I thought I got rid of him. I was feeling so good about that. I love you, but you are a little bit of a pain in the butt. Okay, so we can let that dry, but while that's drying, we can actually work on this one pumpkin because it is not attached to any of that background color. So we can work on that pumpkin, and I'm going to grab my #8 Aqua Elite round brush. For the background, I used the number 10, I believe. Yeah, number 10 Aqua Elite. Princeton brown brush. This is called a long round. So I think we're gonna put down some water in there. Leave a little bit of white out so that it stays kind of white in one area. If you want to, you can do the whole thing. And then we're just gonna do a wash of, what color do we want to use on this one? I was thinking of blue. No text. Go lay down. Go lay down. I was thinking of blue pumpkin and a orange pumpkin, but I think we'll go with an orange one. So we'll start with a light orange wash as our base, and then we can build on that by adding detail. So we're just going to use any old orange that you have. I would tell you what orange I'm using, but Tex is laying on it and I don't want to disrupt him. So I'm just using like a true kind of orangey as my wash color. Put that down. Because we'll go over this with a few different passes just to give that kind of depth to the pumpkin. So that's our start there with that. And then we can work on the ghost. So the ghost is all white, but to give the look of something all white, but not just leaving the whole page white, we will be using tones of gray. And then in his eyes here, you can see I've put in those lines to create that depth. So what we're going to do is we're going to work on the ghost here, and we're going to start with the background. And because we want it to look white, but we still want to add some color, like we want it to be kind of, flowy looking, we're going to be adding some gray into that. So we're going to use there's a gray on the page, or a gray in my paint swatches. And I'm just going to dilute it a ton so that it's very light. So we can go and give this ghostly ghost a wash. Just with water. There's a little bit of pigment in my brush, but that's okay. That's gonna actually work out in our favor. And we're just gonna put down kind of around the edges of him. We'll say it's a him. Just around the edges, we're gonna go in with a little bit more of that gray color to start with. It's okay if it's wet and it's bleeding, that's totally fine. We're just starting off by giving him a little, giving her just a little bit of depth. And so down here at the bottom is just, I don't know, it's just, I was thinking of going in with some green, kind of making it look a little bit grassy, which I could have done off the very get-go, but we'll do that right now because I kind of wasn't thinking about that. But we'll just drop some down here, and I'm totally cool if it bleeds a little bit, like no sweat. And we're going to use a couple different colors of green. Obviously my olive green, will start by dropping that down. Which is perfect. I'm going to pick up some of that wetness, and then I'm going to go drop in some of that Russian green, which I always use. I have a bunch of it mixed up here on my palette, so I'm just going to use some of that. Whatever's mixed in it, I know that there's some olive green in there, and I do want a little bit, a little bit more pigment on my brush for that one, so I'm going to load it up a bit more, and then we're just going to go in and kind of dot down some of that green in there. We can play around with that a little bit more, but we just want to get the base in there. So we'll start with that. So far, I think that's looking really, really good. With our ghost, we can go and drop in that black in his eyeballs and his mouth now. So that's going to create the look of, dimension in there. And I'm going in pretty much wet on dry, and I'm using just a pretty dry brush with pigment on it, so it's almost totally black in there. Whoa. Which we could do this also with the Micron pen. But I'm trying it out here. Just with the tip. And I also could use like a #1 script pen. Or paintbrush, I should say. I could also use that. Oopsie. So I'm just going to drag this up a bit. Give him the outline around his eye. Let's go drop some color on our pumpkin in the background here. I think I want to do that in a blue color. I don't know why, I'm just kind of hooked on that this year. The blue pumpkin color. So I'm going to go in with kind of a light, really diluted turquoise blue, but it's just mixed up on my palette. So it's got turquoise and some, I think, cobalt mixed in with it as well. So I'm going to put that down wet on dry. That's okay if your spider's in the way. You can go over it because we're going to go over his legs anyway with black. While it's still wet. I think if we do these lines, well, we can dry. I think it's just a bit too wet to get too much dimension in these lines, but we're going for it a little bit. Yeah, that looks cute. I think that'll be good. All right, so we're gonna let that dry up, and then we're gonna go work on our ghost's hat. So we want the back to be pretty, to be pretty blacky gray. So I am gonna go over it with a wash first. So this is the wet on wet technique. So we're just gonna kind of go drop down a little bit of water. It does have a little bit of blue still in it. I didn't clean my brush off very good, but it's just a cute, fun little painting to kind of, well, help me. And just before Halloween, because it's coming up here right away. This is helping me get out of my funk just by painting something that is just for fun. Something a little bit out of my comfort zone. So I'm going to pick up some of that water. Okay, so we want to go in pretty good with that black. Like quite a bit of pigment on there. We want it to be different than what his body is. So we want to get in there just like so. Isn't that nice? Okay, so I love that. We can go around here. So I am going to get a little bit more black on my brush with a pretty dry brush because I kind of want to go around the outer edges. With a little bit more detail. And then to blend it, you can go in with your wet brush a bit. Just soften the edges of that black with just clean water. But it still gives that really defined look, which I really like that. So now with the spiderweb, I'm going to use my #1 script. We could also just go ahead with the #1 Micron Ink Pen, but I'm going to use the #1 script because it can do some amazing detailed line work. So I'm going to do that, and we're just going to use the blacky gray that we've been doing, and we're just going to go over those lines. So quite a bit of pigment. We're not going to go over them more than once, so you're going to want to load up your brush with quite a bit of pigment and water. You want it to be quite dark. Just so we can see it. I mean, you can already see it because of the pencil line, which I typically wouldn't draw that dark, but for the sake of you guys seeing what I'm up to. So yeah, so I'm just going to go in. Yeah, that's good and dark. I'm going to draw my lines. Ooh, that one did not match up. That's okay. Wow. And don't sweat it. If they don't match up, they don't look, exactly perfect. This is just a fun little card. You can give it to somebody. You can put it on your fridge. You can practice this a whole bunch of times just to have a good time with it. Don't stress about it too much. All right, we're going to go down to our orange pumpkin here, and we're going to add the detail. Now we're going to go in pretty, like quite a bit brighter orange. So I'm going to use the cadmium orange and some of the Titan's orange together to get a pretty deep orange, because this will probably be my last pass over on it because we got orange base. And so I'm going to, I don't want to use that pen or that paintbrush. I'm going to go back with my number 8. And now we're going to do the details. We're going to go around the edges. We're going to drop in that orange around all those lines and the outside. Then we're going to take our paintbrush and get some water on it, and we're going to soften all that by just going over them. So that pumpkin looks pretty good. I think it almost just looks a little bit too perfect. So what I want to do is go in with a teeny little bit of green, I think. So a little bit of the olive green. So that's kind of like a limey, well, you know, just like a green olive green. I'm going to go in with a little bit of that olive green. Very diluted. And just kind of add a little bit of that, because a pumpkin is green before it turns orange. I'm just going to drop a little bit of that in there. Perfect. I like that better. Now with our blue one, this will be the last pass through that. And let's go with some blue, but then I think I'm going to mix a little bit of brown in there. So we're going to go with turquoise blue mixed with a little bit of cobalt blue. And we're just going to really dilute that up as well. Same kind of thing that we just did with that orange pumpkin. Oh, there's a hair on there. Just the same. I think I like the raw umber better. And dilute your brush a lot. Get some paint. So you don't want to be too heavy, but you also don't want to be too much on there. So you just want to dab it off a bit. And then we're just going to go in and kind of add a little bit of brown in there. I think we'll finish off the witch's hat. And I was thinking of doing his band with purple, like a really true violet. I just feel like that's kind of witchy traditionally. So we'll go around the edges with that. That's a lot of water on there. That's okay. And just move it like that. So you do the edges and then take your clean brush and just kind of move it around a bit so it fills in. We'll let that dry, and then we'll go in a little bit more with that detail around the edge. And then the buckle I'll just do with a gold color. I think that'll be perfect. So for our ghost, I'm going to take my same brush, number 8, and we're going to just add in those last bit of details. So we're going to get a really wet brush and dilute the gray black quite a bit. And we're just going to work on some of this detail down here. So now that we have that down there, we just go blend that in a bit more. So it's just giving a little bit more detail to her shape. And we're just blending that with a wet brush on the side to take away that sharpness. We can add a little bit of that in there. In the bottom here, we'll go in with more Russian green mixed with a little bit of the gray. So I want to darken it up a bit. And just plop it down there. I think we can start on the one stem of the pumpkin up here. So I'm just doing wet on dry with green. I'm doing a little curly Q. To spread that color, take your clean-ish brush and just have it wet and just bring it down into there. Just like so. We'll do the orange, the golden buckle. Just use a bright yellowy kind of golden color. Wet on dry. Bright. We can go wet on dry. Just like that. So I'm gonna go and see if I can, these just look so abrupt. Yeah, I'm gonna go soften the spider web by just moving a little bit of water through there on the edges of the web, like the lines. So it's just gonna soften it and make it look a little less harsh, but give it some shadow as well. Yeah, I like that. Looks good to me. That's still a bit wet. So we can go with our #1 script and get that purple, and we can just outline a little bit more of that. We don't want it to run too much into that yellow, that golden buckle. So just kind of stay away from it if it is still wet. I'm not loving my grass at the bottom, you guys, so I think I'm going to go in and add a little bit of that blacky gray in there, just because I think it looks, I don't know, it's too much. It's too bright or something. So it's just diluting down gray, black. I'm just diluting it down. I'm plunking it right over top. Okay, I'm gonna go in and try to do this guy's stem. So again, the same thing with that Russian green on the outer edges. Now I'm gonna go in with my script brush, and now I'm gonna do the spider's legs. So we want those to be pretty black. So lots of pigment, like water on your brush, lots of pigment, and we're going to do the wet on dry. So just little lines, like so. I think we can start with our ghost. You know me, I like my lines to be pretty loose, and we're gonna go with that. You guys, so I just want to take a minute here to say thank you so much for, you know, watching my channel and subscribing and liking all the videos and everything that's happening on the channel. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you guys want to share it with a friend, that would be super helpful too. The more you guys engage and share and all that good stuff, the more the videos get pushed out and my channel gets pushed out to more people that are watching. So if you guys could do that for me, that would be wonderful. And if you don't like the video, well, that's cool too. You can give me a thumbs down and that's all good. I'm going to do some line work just in little clumps. Just not everywhere though. To give that look of there's grass. Yeah, I think that looks good. So I'm going to go with the gold metallic Winsor Newton ink, and we're going to splatter it on there. I think it always just makes it look so, it just finishes it off. So do we want gold? Yeah, I think gold will make it seem more Halloween-y. You got to shake it up pretty dang good. This is it, the Winsor Newton Gold Metallic Ink. Yep. And splatter, kind of working around the bottom grassy area and then kind of lighten it up as it gets to the top. So like more splatters in the grass and then a little bit to the top. I always kind of find a focal point in each painting where I like to be busy, 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 and then blend some in all the way around. But yeah, you guys, I think that's going to do it for this little Halloween painting. I quite like it. I think it is fun, and yeah, just kind of gets you in the mode a little bit. So, all right, so that's going to do it for this tutorial of the Halloween ghost pumpkin spider. It is definitely out of my wheelhouse for sure, but I had fun doing it, and I hope you guys liked it as well. Again, like I said earlier, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. And if you like it so much and you want to share it to your friends, I wouldn't be mad about that either. I would be happy about that. So it's still wet, but that's it, you guys. I think it's kind of cute. I might give that to somebody for Halloween. You just never know. Anyways, you guys, that's going to do it for me for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Talk to you guys in the next video.